Hi, my name is Vanisha and I am the founder and executive director for the Terminator Foundation. I'm also the author for my upcoming book, Ordinary Courage. You know that saying, tough love? Well, when it comes to loving our children through the pain of a drug and alcohol addiction and or mental health issues, we need to learn to love tough instead. And here's what I mean. Several years ago, following the breakdown of my marriage and a traumatic family event, my daughter Eden started smoking marijuana. She was about 13 years old at the time. I told myself this was typical teenage behavior. She'd grow out of it, it would pass. Well, it didn't. And instead it escalated into a horrible, all-consuming addiction to fentanyl and heroin. I did everything I could to get her help, to get her to stop. I couldn't believe this was happening to us. I couldn't believe this was happening to my beautiful girl. It literally got to the point where I had to face the reality that she could overdose and die. She could be murdered. She could end up taking her own life. We were in and out of treatment centers. We'd have hope. And then with one phone call, hope would be ripped away and I would find out that Eden was back out on the street again. It was a roller coaster of hell. As a parent going through this, I was learning all about tough love, how to walk in tough love, how to talk tough love, how to think tough love. One day, Eddie reached out and we agreed to meet at a local Tim Hortons. Over time, this became known as our Tim Hortons. And I showed up at that Tim Hortons that afternoon wearing my usual tough love exterior. But as I walked away from our meeting that day, I didn't like how I was feeling. If this is the last time I get to see my girl, is this how I want to show up? Emotional and distraught, driving away from the parking lot that day, I realized that me treating her that way was actually protecting me. And instead of connecting with her, I had disconnected to protect my own heart. From that moment on, I decided to abandon the notion of tough love. And no matter the cost to me, I was going to love tough instead. I was going to show up wholeheartedly. I was going to love her with complete abandon. I was going to speak hope in the face of hopelessness. I was going to hold out my hand any chance I got and tell her that recovery is possible. I no longer cared that the stakes were against her. The stakes were against me. I wanted her to know that I believed in her, that she could recover, and that God wastes nothing. I was going to show up even when it was hard, even when it ripped my heart out, and even when it was ugly. I was going to love Eden even though it was tough. I would love tough. Today, I am happy to say that Eden is 4.5 years in long-term recovery. To hear more stories of courage, go to my podcast, Ordinary Courage, found on all platforms, or connect with me at vanishabreault.com or terminatorfoundation.com. And I want to leave you with one last question. How will you love tough? Think.